Hey, welcome to Kickin' It with Krystal, Travel Diaries of a Goddess. I'm your host, Krystal The Goddess, and welcome to another episode where we discuss different travel experiences between me and a few friends. I also talk about travel optimization, aka travel hacking, and I'll throw in a few life shenanigans along the way. You know, living life as a goddess. Now, let's get into it, yeah, hey, get into it, yeah, hey, get into it, yeah. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Kickin' It with Krystal, Travel Diaries of a Goddess. And I'm your host, Krystal The Goddess, and I'm so excited to be here. So I wanted to go ahead and give y'all a recap of my experience with AirFrance, okay? I booked AirFrance flights to go to Tahiti. And AirFrance is a partner with Delta. I don't remember exactly which airline alliance they are because that information was irrelevant to me at the time. It's on top of mind now because of some of the new things I've been learning in my What I Learned Wednesday series. So I booked with AirFrance. Their booking site that I remember, it was okay. I don't remember having too many issues. The reason I booked with AirFrance is because like their ticket price, their like window price was like really, really cheap. It was like 300 and something bucks round trip. Now, the thing about AirFrance, it started to give ghetto really quickly. No, for real though, it started to give spirit real quickly because once I got to checkout, it was no longer 3 something. It went up to like 5 or 6 something. I think my son's ticket might have been like 5 something after taxes and all of the taxes that were in there, not even including like baggage fees and stuff like that, purely taxes. It went up to like 6 something was my ticket, and my son's might have been like $500, 500 and something dollars. My ticket was 600 something dollars. So that was my first red flag. I was like, ill, disgusting. Tomatoes, they're on tomatoes. But I was really happy to see like the prices were super cheap compared to like on Delta where they were like 800 bucks. So overall, I guess I still saved a little bit of money because it only ended up being like 600 bucks. So that was cool. What I also liked is that like you can navigate through like online to see most of your information about like your flight. So that was cool. When I needed to call them for customer service, that was really easy to like navigate. That was really easy to like navigate and work with. So I really appreciated that as well. So now if we fast forward to the actual experience, so here's a little personal hiccup that happened for me. Obviously this will not happen for everybody, but I want to explain my experience because it's going to dictate my experience that I want to share with y'all. So I booked for my son and myself. My family, we had just went to Hawaii, all four of us, and my son he does not like traveling over the water. That freaks him out. It's a valid fear. I'm aware of that. And so we went to Hawaii in January, and then I booked Tahiti for February. And I booked this like the previous year. So it wasn't like I booked it like last minute or anything like that, which is also why I was able to get such a great price. However, I say that to say my son was still like traumatized over the Hawaii flight where he was like, we just got off a plane. I just had to go 5 hours over the ocean. He's like, I don't want to travel over the ocean right now. He was excited about it for a long time. And then when I told him where it was, he was like, well, where is that? Wait a minute. And I told him like, it's by Hawaii, but it's further south. He was like, is that over the ocean? And I was like, yeah, it's going to be, I think he asked me the duration as well. And I'm like, yeah, it's going to be 8 hours, He was like, nah, never mind, I don't want to go. Yo, where is Team Catch Flights, Not Feelings? I'm looking for y'all. Shop our Global Goddess tees right now so that you can rep Team Catch Flights, or perhaps it's Team Getting Passport Stamps. Perhaps it's Team Can't Do It, Got a Flight Booked. Whatever team you want, if you in the sky, shop this tee. See you there. Bye. And I was like, okay. Now here's something interesting about AirFrance, because when you book the tickets, I booked them together, but it separates you. So like I got separate confirmation for my son's ticket and my ticket. I got separate like everything that they sent me, like with my ticket price, with my actual physical ticket, my confirmation email, everything was separate. So I would get emails from me and then emails for him. They were completely separate. We had separate reservation numbers, even though I booked them together. So I thought that was super, super weird. So then when my son was telling me he didn't want to go, I had to cancel the tickets. And so I canceled his ticket. I didn't get a refundable ticket, so I took an L on that. But I canceled my ticket because I decided, I was like, I'm not gonna make my son pay for, I'm not gonna traumatize him. I'm like, we have so many more trips coming that it's okay for him to miss this one, you know. And I told him, I was like, I'll communicate better with you in the future. But we also had a conversation around like working through our fears, right? And not allowing our fears to stop us from enjoying life and having experiences. Y'all know my motto, life is meant to be lived, so get out there and experience it, even if you have to do it scared. And so that's something him and I are working through. But back to AirFrance. So when I needed to cancel his flight, I mean, it was my bad that I didn't get a refundable ticket, so I took the L. But talking on the phone with the people, they were really helpful with the customer service. They were super helpful, so they were able to fix everything. And then I was like, actually, I want to switch it to my honey. You know, I want to switch the ticket to my honey. They did not allow me to switch the ticket, which I thought was weird, and I also thought it was a thing that like I could just transfer the name of the ticket. So I don't know if Air France just doesn't do this or if all airlines don't do this. I'm not 100% sure. So Air France was like, I can't transfer the ticket, but I can give you a new ticket. It might have also been due to the type of ticket I had because it was non-refundable. I think that was part of it too. Had I got one of the more expensive tickets, I would have been able to transfer it over, no problem. So that's what I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that. You can fact check that. But what I did do, I was like, well, F it, cancel my son's ticket. I'll like pay I'll take the hit, whatever the price is, whatever, like my honey's gonna come with me. So I was like, I wanna get him a ticket. So again, everything is separate. I was like, can you just add him to my ticket? They were like, no, he has to have his own reservation. So they get my honey set up with his own reservation. I ended up buying my seats for the flight. So Air France, you have to pay for your seats. I mean, mind you, you don't have to pay for your seat, right? Like once you buy a ticket, you have a seat on the plane. But I wanted to ensure that honey and I were sitting together, just like with my son. I thought I had bought the seats with my son, but I guess I didn't. And so with honey, I was like, no, definitely book us together, because honey and I don't take trips. Just him and I. We haven't been on a plane together since 2015 or 2015, probably 2017 or 16 was the last time we were on a flight together. So I haven't been able to sit by him on an airplane because I always sit with my son and he sits with his son. So I made sure to, I was like, yeah, go ahead and book the seats together. So I paid extra for that. Of course, you have to pay each seat, one way there, one way back. Mind you, I did all this over the phone. So even though we had separate reservation numbers, the guy was able to go into both reservations and assign our seats together. Fast forward, I'm like so grateful, so thankful. Thank you, sir. Have a great day. Fast forward to when it's time to check in, right? 24 hours before I'm trying to check in. I check in on mine. I check myself in. Boom, no problem. I try to check honey in. Complete issue. It would not let me go through. It kept saying error. The page wasn't loading. I tried it on mobile. I tried it on the computer. I tried it on the app. They were not taking his check-in. And so we went to the ticket counter when we got to the airport. We went to their little ticket counter. And the first lady that came up, she was helping us out, working her stuff. She was like, hold on, y'all. She had to go and talk to her supervisor in the back. And the supervisor was like working some stuff. And then they never told us anything. They never told us what was the issue. And then eventually the first lady comes back and she's like, oh, what do you want for your meal? And I was like, yeah, we could do vegan, whatever. My honey was like, yeah, I want to do vegan. Mind you, honey never does vegan, but he swore up and down he does vegan. And I'm like, I book all our fucking flights. I've never booked you fucking vegan. Anyway, sorry, excuse my language, but that's how I talk in real life. So I was like, I never booked you vegan. And so then fast forward a few minutes later, they come back, they give us the ticket. They never tell us what's wrong. They never tell us that there was an issue. They never told us anything. So they give us the ticket. I never look at the ticket. I'm just like, okay, cool. we get on the airplane. I have the tickets, and I figure we're sitting together, so it doesn't matter. So we get on there, and Honey realizes, like, yo, you told me two different seats that are not together. Because he asked me, like, you know, where are we sitting? He was like, yo, those are, see if I can block the wind. But he's like, yo, those seats are not together. So we get on the airplane, and lo and behold, the seats are not together. Mind you, I'm confused because I pay for these freaking seats. I never pay for, like, I won't say never, but I typically would not, like, pay for a seat because you don't really need to. You know, I'm like, this is bogus. I don't need to pay for a seat. The one time I pay for a seat, y'all separate us. So he's sitting by the window seat, and technically he's in my seat that's assigned to me. I'm sitting in his other seat because his other seat is an issue. And I don't know about how y'all relationships are set up, but in my relationship, I'm the one that be like asking all the questions, that be inquiring about all of the things that are like wrong. And so I was like, okay, well, you know, you just stay there. Like, it was so weird. And then the seat that they assigned to me, somebody was actually sitting in it. So I'm sitting in this row behind. And I'm like, wait a minute, this ain't even the right row. People next to me are trying to, oh, this is this seat. Like, they're trying to help me out. And of course, I'm like, bro, you don't even know my issue. Like, don't talk to me. And I don't want to be rude to strangers, but also, why are you in my business? Like, leave me alone. So people are trying to talk to me, and I'm like, yeah, okay, thanks. That's like, I'm literally like, okay, thanks. Thanks. And I'm just waiting. Honey's trying to talk to me. I'm like, chill. Like, you don't understand the problem. Because mind you, we're like 3 people away from each other. I'm like, don't worry about it. Like, I'm going to figure it out. And so the people come who are sitting in where I'm sitting, who are supposed to be sitting here. And I'm like, great, because this person's sitting in my seat already. So I can't even sit in my correct seat. And I don't want to tell this person to get up because I'm not even going to sit there anyway. This is all a hoopla anyway. Like, I'm not about to fight for a seat that's also not mine. I need that seat because that's the BS. And so I flag I just go wait in the back by the bathrooms, you know, in the middle of the ship. Not the ship, in the middle of the plane. And then a flight attendant comes by, and the flight attendant is like, so I talked to the flight attendant. I'm like, you know, here's my issue. Mind you, the flight attendant speaks French. They speak French. So it's like the first person I'm talking to, flight attendant A, we'll call her. She could barely understand me. So she flags flight attendant B. Flight attendant B partially understands me. Long story short, after waiting, and then they pull in a flight attendant C, a man, and, you know, they're asking me questions, and I'm trying to tell them, like, you know, I booked my flight. They're supposed to be together. I don't know why they're not together. And then even the seat that y'all gave me, somebody's already in there. I don't know what's going on, but I booked my flight. Like, I booked the seat. I paid for the seat. So I'm, like, annoyed, right, going through my emails, trying to find all this confirmation stuff. They ended up, so there was 3 of us in a row, right? So Honey was on the window, I was at the middle, and someone else was sitting at the aisle. Long story short, they end up asking the person in the aisle to move to find a different seat. I don't know why, they didn't have to, but they did that. They allowed me to sit in the middle, and it's funny because Honey was like, it's not funny, but Honey was texting me like, you know, the middle seat is empty, it's empty, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I understand that. Like, I'm waiting on them, right? Like, because I'm trying to be legit. I don't want to sit there and then somebody else try to come and sit down and try to say, like, you're in my seat. Like, I just didn't want to deal with all of that because by now we're at like 3 different rounds of musical chairs, and I was not trying to do that. So fortunately, so it's funny because they moved this person out of the seat so I could sit there, and before I could get comfortable and like take advantage of the bougie, what do they call it, ghetto first class, right, of having the half of the row to myself, somebody else sits there, probably most likely somebody who was like in a middle seat and came and seen that the seat was empty. But I had already took the blanket because I'll be putting it in my back, so that was fine. Hey, calling all the goddesses out there. The goddesses who are just now realizing the goddess energy that lives within, and the goddesses who have known all along. Yes, hey goddess, it's Krystal, the goddess here, the creator and host of the House of Divinity podcast. I'm a holistic healer, a certified Kemetic Reiki practitioner, and your goddesshood guide. Here to be of assistance on your journey through goddesshood. You know, the way parents have parenthood and adults have adulthood. You get what I'm saying? So, on the House of Divinity podcast, join us for divine discussions where we'll discuss several different aspects of living life as your most divine goddess self through your mind, body, and spirit. We'll discuss ways to raise your vibration, activate and align your chakras, and stay tuned in and harness your divine goddess energy. If it's gonna help you navigate life on earth at full goddess potential, we're gonna talk about it. Sometimes it'll just be you and I having a divine discussion. Other times, we'll be joined by other holistic healers to share their holistic practices and knowledge. So, are you ready to ascend and live life at your full goddess potential? Tune in every week wherever you listen to your podcast, and find us on social media at House of Divinity by KTG. That stands for House of Divinity by Krystal The Goddess. And go ahead and like, follow, and subscribe. See you there. Bye. So they were super helpful. And now here's the second issue. Since Honey was sitting in my seat, our first meal, they bring out the meal. They're like, vegan, boom, I give it to Honey. Because from what I know, I made my meal vegan. And when I did Honey's check-in, they did his vegan. So I'm thinking we're good to go. So I don't know why I won't say why the bugs are bothering me. There's always bugs out here. So I give Honey the first meal, and then they ask me, like, what do you want? Would you want vegan or you want this? I was like, yeah, I want vegan or vegetarian. I'm like, vegan, yeah. So they bring me vegan food, first meal of the flight. I'm like, okay, great. When we're getting ready to land, and I'm trying to think about the flight back. What did we eat? I don't even remember the flight back. I don't remember eating on the flight back. That's weird. But this is all going to Tahiti, right? So then, you know, you go to sleep, you wake up, you get closer to the destination, like 2 hours in, 1.5 hours in, and they bring in like your second meal. And then, so, you know, like vegan, they give it to him, and then they come back and like, they're given general food. And I'm like, yeah, where's the general food? You know, I'm like, yeah, where's the vegan food? And they're like, oh, we don't have a vegan option right now. And I'm like, oh, but like my ticket, like I ordered vegan. So this flight attendant leaves, she comes back. Mind you, I feel like this chick was being very aggressive, and I did not like that because I wasn't being aggressive. I was just like asking and inquiring, where's my food? So she comes back with her little iPad, and she's like, look, the window seat has vegan, this seat does not. Mind you, Honey was in my seat, right? So when I booked my flight online, I had the vegan meal option, so it was set. Apparently, when I tried to do his stuff, they didn't do vegan meals for him. So she's trying to tell me like, well, you're not, it doesn't say that you get vegan here, so that's why you don't have vegan. And I was like, okay, it's fine. Literally, I was like, okay, it's fine. I left it alone, right? The first time she told me like, oh, we don't have any more vegan, I was just like, okay, like, that's it. I'm just like, okay. Didn't even go into details. That's when the lady leaves, the flight attendant leaves. This is flight attendant A from the beginning. She leaves and she comes back with the iPad. And it's like, my perspective, she's like, see, look. And she's trying to prove her point, like I said, being low-key aggressive. And I was like, okay, it's fine. It's okay. So she leaves, and then a man comes. This is not even a flight attendant C. This looks like the marshal. I don't know what the marshal looks like. I don't really know what the marshal does. I just know I know someone who wants to get a job with the air marshal, and I'm assuming they're someone of authority on a plane. So here comes this man, a totally different man with like a different type of suit with an AirFrance pin, and he's like explaining the situation. Yes, ma'am, so I understand you and your partner, you and your husband are together. Your seat was there. That seat had the vegan meal. This seat did not. We apologize. That was the mix-up. And I'm like, thank you, it's fine. You know, when I checked him in, they asked us what type of meal. I said vegan. I assumed that he was going to have vegan. The guy's explaining to me, yeah, typically, you know, we have to know 24 hours or 48 hours in advance, preferably 48 hours, and then we can prepare the vegan meal or any specialty, you know, dietary meals. And I was like, thank you, sir. It's like, I understand. What can I do about it? It's done. You don't have vegan food. My Honey, he's flexible. He'll eat different type of meats, chicken, turkey, stuff like that. I don't eat any of that meat. I'll eat seafood, but I'm not about to eat no beef, no pork. I'm not about to eat no chicken on this plane, no turkey on this plane. Like, I'm not gonna do it, right? And they had like a parfait. I was like, I'm not gonna eat yogurt. I'm not doing it. Like all that milk, I'm good. I don't do that. And so like the guy's explaining that stuff to me, and I'm like, okay, thank you, sir, I understand. He leaves. He comes back with flight attendant D. Yes, y'all, I met down there everybody on that plane. It was wild. But he comes back with flight attendant D, and flight attendant D is like, he's like, so flight attendant D was actually the silver lining, because he came back to apologized for the mix-up. He looked like he was like a black dude. Definitely was like giving black. He had some black in him. Let's just say that. And so, oh, I forgot we have that thing right there. Anyways, so flight attendant D, he apologizes for the mix-up, and then he offers me money or miles to show, you know, I don't want to say condolences because it's always associated with death, but like as a token of like appreciation, or I don't know, to express his sincerest apologies, you know. But he offers me points or miles, and I need to check to make sure I got my damn points. But he offered me points or miles for the mix-up, and I don't even remember how much money it was, but you know me, I'm a points gal. I'm like, how can I use these points? And so he offered me the points, and I took the points, and I was just like, you know, well, thank you. At least I got something. And then so afterwards, I told Babe, I was like, dang, I should have looked to see how much money it was, because I should have just took the money, right? Like, reimburse me for the ticket that for the seat that I paid for. And Honey was like, nah, babe, like, you did good. Picking miles is good because you can play with your miles. You can use your miles later. He's like, you're good. It was only a couple bucks anyway. And I think it was like 3,000 miles. So I was like, all right, babe, you right. And my mom always said, trust your first mind. So I was like, all right, babe, you're right. I'll trust my first mind. But overall, I would say my experience with AirFrance, I don't like that when you book a reservation for a family, I don't like that it separates everyone to give everyone individual reservations, because even if you're trying to check in everybody, you have to do every single person individually. So I don't like that. I don't like the glitch where I paid for my seat and later on they switch my seat. Especially, again, because we have all these separate reservations, they felt like they could just move people wherever they wanted. No, babe, we're together. Like, keep us together. So I didn't like that. But I will say, I didn't like that flight attendant A. I didn't like her attitude in the middle of the flight. And I get it. She was trying to save her butt, CYA. I get that. If you don't know, CYA means cover your butt. Yo, donkey. And I get that. So it's like her bringing me the iPad to try to show me, like, this is what my notes say, so I didn't make a mistake. I get that. But I didn't like her energy. Like, simmer down, babe. Didn't like that at all. But what I did appreciate, again, was flight attendant D, flight attendant D, who came in to reconcile the situation. I appreciated that. The food that I did have was pretty good. So I appreciated that, right, that I did have, because I didn't have everything. Hopefully you're not picking up all the wind. I don't think you would be, but overall the flight was smooth. The airplane was good, nice and comfy, as comfy as that gets. And I say that as far as like the seats weren't like extra uncomfortable. I just always need like some extra back support. So speaking of back support, right, let me straighten my posture. But so I really appreciated that. I also, like I said, the food was good. The entertainment selection was good. So I love that. They gave you snacks. So I think it was okay. Would I fly Air France again? I definitely would. If I have to give them a score overall out of 10, I'd give them like a 7.5. Because I was going to say an 8, but I don't like all the tech issues. So I'm like, I gave them 3 dings, so I'm like a 7 seems sufficient. So if I had to rate Air France, I would give them like a 7 out of 10 overall. Customer service was amazing. I love that I can call. It wasn't like no long, actually one time I did have a long wait time. But you know how that goes with customer service. And then, you know, that's just what it is. You never know. You call it peak hours, you're going to get peak wait time, you know. But customer service was great, so that's a plus for me. And I love, like, the infotainment system. I've been on some international flights where their choices are trash, right? But Air France, I guess because they're aligned with Delta, so they had, like, TV shows, they had music. I believe on the way back, I was listening to music. I was listening to Ari. I was like, yeah. Her newest album, too. It was the newest album from 2023, 2022. I believe that album came out 23. SL, what is it? Sex, location, gender, something like, no, it wouldn't be sex and gender. Anyways, but that sex, location, something else album about, like, dating and stuff. So I listened to some music on the way back. Did some reading. But yeah, overall, I like them. I would definitely write them again. Just be prepared. If you're flying AirFrance, be prepared for the price. The window price that you see is not the final price, right? They're going to add some taxes on there. So it's giving kind of Spirit, but I guess it's like middle class Spirit. It's like middle class Spirit because the ticket, like I said, was like $300 something. And then after taxes, it went up to like $600 something. So it wasn't too bad. That's still, like I said, I believe that it was still cheaper than Delta, so I'll take it. But thanks y'all so much. That's all I got for y'all today. That is my review on AirFrance. Thank y'all for tuning in. I love y'all for real. And remember, life is meant to be lived, so get out there and experience it, even if you have to do it scared. I'll see you at the next episode. Bye. All right. Thank you all so much for joining me on this episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. If you'd like to join me on my next Goddess Retreat, make sure you click the link below. We're going to Costa Rica. Reserve your spot today. Also, if you'd like to purchase the Global Goddess Guide, that link will also be below. And if you want to rep some merch, definitely check out the link below. All the links are below. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to our travel vlogs on YouTube so that you can see everything that I'm talking about here. Thanks for tuning in. I love and appreciate y'all. I hope you have a magical day.